Hello everyone. In today's session, I'm solving the third problem in module 2. So this is a given problem. So here generator 1, 2 are both identical generators. Both are rated as 11 kilovolt 20 MVA and having the reactance as 0.25 per unit. So here the transformer T1 and T2 also having the same ratings 11 kilovolt 66 11 kilovolt slash 66 kilovolt 5 MVA and having the reactance as 0.06 per unit. So here they have given the length of the transmission line between T1 and T2 is 50 kilometers and which is having the reactance as 0.848 ohm per kilometer. After that, there was a occurrence of a three-phase fault which is assumed to be occurs at a point F, that is 20 kilometers from generator 1. So that means the total length of the transmission line is 50. So from generator 1, at a distance of 20 kilometer, a fault has been occurs. So now what we have to do, we need to calculate a short circuit current. So that is IF double dash we need to find. So one important thing you have to observe here is there is no details given on the load side. So this is understood that the given system is unloaded. Very important thing. So while seeing the problem itself, it is clear that this is an unloaded system. So now I'll rate the rating of all the components below the single line diagram. So this is the given data. So before going for the calculation, that is the step. So you need to clarify with the transmission line reactance because here the fault is occurring at a distance of 20 kilometer. So the reactance given for the 50 kilometer is 0.848 ohm. So this is going to be divided for the 20 kilometer distance of the fault point and remaining 30 kilometers. So next what we have to do, so consider this is a transmission line having a distance of 50 kilometer. So due to the occurrence of a fault at 20 kilometer, so the transmission line reactance XTL will going to changes. So now what we have to do, we need to separately find out the transmission line reactance for the 20 kilometer distance and also for the 30 kilometer distance. So now XTL for 20 kilometer. So now multiply 20 kilometer into 0.848. So that we will get the answer as 16.96 ohm. Similarly, find out for the transmission line reactance of 30 kilometers. So that is 30 multiplied with the given reactance 0.848. 0.848. So we will get the answer as 25.4 ohm. So that means we will get two transmission line reactance. One is 16.96 ohm and other one is 25.4 ohm. So this is one important thing you need to observe in this problem. So next we are going to proceed with the steps. So the step 1 is calculation of base voltage and converting the given reactance diagram into. One more important thing you have to observe here is there is no base value mentioned in the given problem. So it is understood that the first connected component in the single line diagram, that is the generator value to be considered as a base. So 20 MVA will be the MVA base new and 11 kilovolt will be the kilovolt base new. So by taking this value as a reference, so next we have to calculate the base voltage of transmission line and also the generator 2. So this is in the same step. Since the transmission line is coming on the HT section, use the HT section formula. Kilovolt base new on LT, nothing but generator 1 multiplied by high voltage by low voltage rating. That is a T1 transformer rating. High voltage is 66, low voltage is 11 kilovolt. So you will get the answer as 66 kilovolt. This is for the transmission line. Then similarly for the generator 2, so you'll use LT section formula. So kilovolt base on the HT section, nothing but transmission line 66 multiplied by low voltage by high voltage of the transformer rating, that is a T2. Low voltage is 11, high voltage is 66. So you'll get the answer as 11 kilovolt. So after this you will proceed for the reactance calculation for 1 and 2 generator, because both having same rating. Similarly the two transformers same rating, and you need to calculate the per unit reactance for the two transmission line 20 km distance and 30 km distance. So now observe, using the same formula, that is MVA base new old and kilovolt base square volt by new. So I have calculated generator 1 and 2 value as J 0.25. Same formula applied for the T1 and T2 transformer, 0.06, 20 by 5 into 11 by 11. So this kilovolt base value always cross check for the primary side as well as for the secondary side, so that you'll get to know whether you have done the previous steps correctly or not. So that we have obtained the answer for T1 and T2 transformer as J 0.25 per unit. So next I have calculated the per unit reactance for the 20 km transmission line and also for the 30 km. So these are the answers I have obtained. So finally we have to draw the per unit reactance for the given single line diagram. So this is given reactance from the one line diagram. So here you have to mention where exactly the fault has occurred. So look at the given problem. So this is the point where the three-phase fault has occurred. Same way we'll represent in the reactance diagram also. So this is the point where the fault has occurred. Represent that with the dotted lines. So this is a three-phase fault occurrence. So this completes step 1. Next, proceeding with the step 2 calculation, that is calculation of a pre-fault. But before that we need to identify whether the system is loaded or unloaded. So now look at the given data. There is no details given on the load side. So it is understood that the given system is unloaded. So now look at the procedure once. If the system is unloaded means, what we have to do? Directly we will consider VPF will be equal to 1. There is no load is there means current is also will be 0. So we can write IL will be equal to 0. Okay. Since the system is unloaded, directly we can write VPF is equal to 1 per unit and IL value can be considered as 0. So same thing we'll do in the step 2 also. So since the system is unloaded, so VPF in per unit will be equal to 1 per unit and IL value will be equal to 0. So this completes with the step 2. So next we'll proceed with the step 3 calculation, that is a calculation of fault current. So that is we are calculating the fault current by using Thevenin's theorem, that is IF per unit will be equal to VTH by ZTH. So since you already know that VTH will be equal to VPF in per unit, that is from the previous step, it's equal to 1 per unit. So next we need to find out ZTH value here. So for finding the ZTH value, so the reactance diagram which we have obtained in the step 1, I have rewritten by neglecting the source voltages. So we can calculate the ZTH here. So observe that all the reactance connected this side will be in series, and here similarly here also these three reactants are now connected in series. So we can rewrite the same circuit in this way by adding up all the reactances which are in series. Then we will apply the final the parallel formula. Consider this is AB point. So adding of all these three reactants will get the answer as J 0.606 per unit. Similarly for the other side we'll get the answer as J 0.56 per unit. So now for the calculation of a ZTH, here J 0.56 is in parallel with J 0.606. So use the parallel formula. I'll write the direct answer 0. That is J 0.29 per unit. So this is the answer for ZTH. So next similarly we'll write the per unit fault current value, that is VTH by ZTH. VTH is 1 because this is an unloaded system. ZTH is J 0.29. So we will get the answer as 3.41 at an angle of minus 90 degree per unit. So this is the calculation of fault current. So next we supposed to do the subtransient current calculation, that is for the change of current values. Post current value, that is a subtransient IL, and the change in current values. But before that, so just look at the given problem once. So what they have asked in the given problem, they just ask you to find only the short circuit current. Short circuit current is IF double dash, and this value need to be represented in actual. So already we have calculated this IF double dash value in the third step itself, but only thing, this per unit value need to be converted in actual. So directly we can proceed with the step 5, because this is an unloaded system. There is no need of calculation of I1 and I2. So this I1 and I2, it will comes into a picture only if the system is loaded. So directly we can proceed with the final step. This is the procedure I am telling. So we can directly proceed with the final for the conversion of a per unit value into actual value. So the step 4 is, that is actual current calculation. Actual fault current calculation. So here already we have obtained the per unit value of the fault current. So that we need to write in terms of actual. So IF double dash actual will be equal to IF double dash per unit multiplied by I base. So now IF per unit value, here itself we have obtained 3.41 at an angle of minus 90 degree multiplied by I base. We have the formula I base divided by root 3 into V base. So now for the calculation of base voltage, which base voltage we have to consider means, now look at the given problem. So here the fault has occurred over the transmission line. So the base voltage we need to consider the transmission line only. Very important, remember, when during the calculation of a fault current value, so here V base is always the point where the fault has occurred. So here the fault has occurred over the transmission line. So that base voltage we need to consider, that is 66 kilovolt. So now I'll do the calculation here. 3.41 at an angle of minus 90 degree into the P base from the step 1 20 MVA divided by root 3 into V base of the transmission line, that is 66 kilovolt. So we will obtain the final answer IF double dash in actual, that is equal to 596.87 at an angle of minus 90 degree amperes. So this completes the given problem. Thank you.